You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Hello and welcome to your Thursday Loose Women, keeping you company alongside me, Christine Lampard. It's Brenda Edwards, Carol McGiffin and Nadia Sawala. We've got some feisty debates for you today. We're asking, are video doorbells making us safer or turning us into a surveillance society? And should you let your toddler watch TV? Also on the show...
Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble.
Well, she might be all about the bass, but Meghan Trainor is also all about the double loo. So is it the key to a happy relationship? I'm bringing you all the laughs this lunchtime. Our guest is comedian Josh Widdicombe. He'll be talking to him about everything from the 90s TV. It inspired his comedy career, and to the trials and tribulations of parenting and how he recently discovered he's royalty. First, though, government plans to improve access to GPs, so in-person appointments, will see GP surgeries ranked in tables according to how much face-to-face time they offer. Patients able to rate their practices' performances by text. Now, critics are saying it would effectively mean GPs are being named and shamed. So should we be able to rate our GPs? Almost a little bit the way we can do it on TripAdvisor and things like that, Carol. Is this something that us as the patients, do we need that kind of feedback? Do we feel better by having that kind of feedback?
Well, first of all, no, I don't like all this rating of everything because A, I don't trust it, and B, I think it can be very, very spiteful and you can get people into a lot of trouble with it. The second thing is people have got to be able to actually see their GP before they are able to rate them. And there is still too much of this. I hear a hell of a lot of it, people who still can't get to see a GP. Like 18 months down the line since all this started, when GPs stopped seeing people face-to-face, and they still can't. And it's like, I can't understand it. You know, I listen to the radio and I hear people talking about old people having to stand outside their GP surgeries because they're not even allowed into the reception. And this is actually happening. And I know that GPs do work hard. There are good ones and there are bad ones, absolutely. But they've just got to get back to how it was. You know, some things cannot be diagnosed over a Zoom call or a phone call. It can't be done. And don't forget, a lot of people are really suffering now with illnesses and problems that weren't diagnosed because of all of this. And it needs to get back to where it was.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think I'm very lucky, well, or unlucky, really, for me, because I never want to go into the surgery. And my GP is a great guy. And every time I've spoken to him, he says, I think you better come in and I'll have a look. But I certainly know that's not everybody's experiences. So there are many, many brilliant GPs out there. And I absolutely hate the idea of this. I really do. Like you, Carol, I think spiteful's a good word.
Yeah.
Spite can come out, I think. And also, how do we trust it? And also, can we not just have a bit of respect for the profession? I mean,
will it do any good, though? What will happen?
What will be the result? Well,
Yeah.
the idea, I suppose, is that people will take their business somewhere else and then the GPs will be penalised financially by not getting any of these extra bonuses. I just don't like any of it. I think the whole world feels at the moment it's all about blaming and pointing fingers and being angry with everybody. And I just think we've got to encourage... Well, they are. I mean, we are back to face-to-face appointments now. And for me, absolutely no to rating. Don't like it.
I mean, we do hear it all the time, the people that have genuine complaints so about they're on the phone for ages to try and just get the appointment in the first place. Is this just a way of being able to voice your anger and to try and maybe get something done to try and improve the system, or would you agree with the ladies, Brenda?
I agree with the ladies, as in I don't think it's yet another app to rate people that are just trying to do their jobs. And I'm lucky and I'm fortunate that when I do want to go and see my GP, I can see my GP. I still have that face-to-face appointment. But, you know, the naming and shaming thing, I think that it's breeding a lot of anxiety and a lot of hatred. You know, you go into the surgery now, and instead of, you know, you might see some leaflets about different illnesses and how to combat them, you're seeing, please do not offend, please do not get aggressive with our GPs. And it's really quite sad that you're seeing that kind of temperament towards the GPs.
You see that in the A&E departments and all sorts. And I'm like, oh my goodness, is this what it's coming to?
And we have a chronic brain drain in this country. People are leaving this country. Professionals are leaving this country in their droves. We've got a massive shortage with GPs, as we have with everything else. Do you not think that there might be many GPs that go, do you know what? I don't know, because they do get a lot of abuse as well. They do, and they do get people time wasting, or maybe people that are lonely, or people with really big. It's a very stressful job.
I think if the government want to do any apps, they should find an app to rate themselves. Let's rate the MP. They're the ones that keep doing all of this.
You can do that every 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years is not enough. 4 or 5 years is not enough. They brought this pandemic here, and they were the ones that, you know, did this stupid track and trace app that didn't work. It's just another app. It's too many apps, too many cooks, by the bruh.
But you... But going back to what you said, Nadia, and funny, I have a friend, and he has been a GP for many years now, actually, and he definitely is struggling with his profession, having been to university, and it was a love of his. But he is very much at a point now where he is at the front line. He's the first person, obviously, that people want to see. And if they don't, as a GP, and if they don't quite maybe get the answers that they need there and then, he finds it quite abusive. And he still then goes home to his family and his children. It's very hard to shrug it off, as he describes it, because he takes a lot of it home with him. So I think, absolutely, people will always have complaints about certain people, and some people are good at their job, some people aren't. But there are a lot of good people trying to do good work.
But it should be made easier for them to do the job that they trained to do, rather than be up against so much, you know,
we need more GPs, don't we? We need more doctors. We need more nurses. We need people that want to come into the profession. We need to make it
and they have to start getting used to seeing people face to face. I know you say you're face-to-face already, but a hell of a lot of people are not, and that has to get back. They have to start doing it again.
I want face-to-face, actually, funny.
I prefer to rate the people that seem to be messing up where all the money goes in the NHS system.
Well, let's not go there. Don't get started.
That is another discussion, isn't it? Or another part of the show at some point.
That was a fear of God into me, that sound. I don't know why, it makes me nervous.
We're all fairly familiar with that sound now, aren't we? Even if you haven't got that video doorbell, you probably know that sound, and they're often hailed as a fantastic tool to keep your home safe. But one homeowner could end up having to pay up to £100,000 in damages after a judge ruled that his 4 doorbell cameras and 2 dummy ones were breaching his neighbour's privacy. So are video doorbells making us all safer? Or are they just turning us into this surveillance society where we can't stop looking at our phones and spying on everybody else?
Do you know what? I think I feel the least safe I've ever felt in my entire life.
More cameras than ever.
They'll sell you that doorbell, telling you this will make you safer, this will make you more secure.
I've got the doorbell. I've got the doorbell. I've got it. But like for instance, the other day we were in the cinema having a really nice time with the kids, and Mark suddenly went, and he's showing me the doorbell camera, and there's like somebody moving around. I'm like, we're watching a film. Anyway, 2 seconds later, and they've now got a flashlight out, a torch. I'm thinking, oh my God, it's a burglar casing the joint. But then we realise it's a policewoman. So the kids were like, get up, I'm watching a film. They're like, what? Charge out of the cinema, run to our car, get in the car, my cortisol's going, my adrenaline's going, charge back home. As we go past my parents' house, who live next door, there's a forensics van in the drive. We pull into my drive. I go charging into my mum and dad's drive to the policewoman going, what? Were you just in my house 3 months? And she said, oh, yeah, sorry, we got the wrong number. We were just looking for the number. She was looking for the number on the house.
Well, so that ruined
the film.
It ruined the film. It ruined your night out.
My adrenaline.
And it makes you paranoid. I mean, I hate all of this thing. I hate all surveillance. I hate CCTV. I've always hated it. I've always been against it. I won't have one of those things listening to me in my own house that, you know, they say, this is really good, it makes your life really easy. And meanwhile, they're just recording everything. All that stuff gets recorded. It's a massive data
You've made me stop whispering in my own home now because of all this.
Well, I know that you should. You have to be cautious of it all. It's getting out of control.
That's a point, though, because you can walk past houses and these various doorbells are recording you, so you can hear your neighbours talking as they're walking past. So there is something in the whispering. Is this what we're becoming now? We all have to whisper?
Whisper in our houses. My kids have caught me and Mark having massive rows on the doorbell that we think we're just having until we get in the house.
But you have
we're
to be
outside
careful.
of the door.
You've got to be careful what you say anyway.
Yeah,
Let
but
alone just walking down the street.
I originally got the Ring doorbell because I was missing a lot of deliveries with schedules and this, that and the other. So I got fed up of, you know, because you come back from work and you've got the car saying you've missed a delivery, and then when you go to the sorting office, it's closed. So, you know, you can nicely request where they put the package. But my daughter had an incident only a couple of weeks ago where a well-known delivery company, they pushed the doorbell, she was there, and she actually recorded the person, well, it recorded naturally, flinging the package clean over and broke the package. And going back to get the reimbursement from that, it was handy. But the other thing that it started to be good for was, you know, there have been a couple of people that are trying to break into cars and things, and so it has captured things like that. But you go and take it to the police, and unless they've actually broken in and taken something, they can't do anything. But then the police still come and knock my door when they see I've got a Ring doorbell and say, there was something that happened, there was a burglary, can we see your footage? So I just don't
Don't you think
I don't
it turns
understand
everyone
it.
into like amateur sleuths as well? I've only just heard this morning about this horrific sounding thing called the Next Door app.
Oh, stop
where
it.
everybody in an area signs up.
Just stop it.
And then
Stop
they
it all.
WhatsApp each other saying...
It's seriously.
No, honestly, Carol, you'll love this story.
No, I don't.
So, honestly, one of the neighbours in this story that I just heard caught another neighbour stealing the cat and zoomed in on the face and then put this on the WhatsApp
Oh, my
group
God.
So that, I mean, it could encourage vigilantism. I can never say it, but you know what I mean.
Who's got time?
But this poor woman then said, oh, I wasn't stealing it, that's me, I'm from number 42 or whatever. I just thought it was lost, so I took it to the vet.
Oh,
and
God.
you just think that could get really scary.
Well, also, it could be used to report people for going out when they're not allowed to go out, you know, like
We
during
had
lockdown or
that.
something. Or it could just record you doing... And then you've got no defence. It's seen you go out. I mean, I think it's asking for trouble, and I think I would never have one, and I advise everyone to get rid of them.
I think probably from a complete personal perspective, they're useful. They might make you feel safe. They're practical when it comes to your parcels and all of that. But the idea of maybe your neighbour, depending on your relationship with your neighbour, if you think that they've got them and they're able to, you know, you're in your garden having a barbecue or something and they're zooming in on cameras watching you, that is uncomfortable.
I think there's quite strict rules on
exactly.
that, though. You can't be looking at next door neighbours.
Yeah, but just get a pair of binoculars if you want to spy on your neighbours.
Go old style, eh, Carol? That's what
Old
Exactly.
school all the way.
Just be a bit more obvious
good
about it.
night.
You know?
Get your binoculars out, kids.
Oh, dear. OK, after the break, as one mum fumes at finding out her son's nursery was letting him watch cartoons, we're asking, is there anything wrong with letting your child watch TV? And you've heard of the double sink. But could the double loo, yes, two loos literally side by side, be the key to a happy relationship? We'll see you after this.
Oh, please tell me it's not Mr. Blobber.
See, I was trying to protect you, Carol.
I know. Christine.
A little throwback to when Mr. Blobby was last on the show. We laugh at that every time, don't we?
Honest to God, I put it on when I'm really
Oh, my
down.
God, look,
I
Thea.
Google search Carol and Mr. Blobby.
Just to cheer you up.
That took years off my life. It did.
Well, our guest today, comedian Josh Widdicombe, thinks Mr. Blobby is one of the comedy greats. Josh, why is that?
Yeah, justify yourself.
Well, you've just seen it. Of course. You just saw that was... If that's not great comedy, it goes Eric Morecambe, John Cleese, Mr. Blobby. That is the history of British comedy. That's all you need to know.
That's at my expense, though.
At your expense. I'm with you, Josh. Josh is going to be joining us just after 1 o'clock. And at 1:15, as Adele likens her new album to all the friends that got her through her divorce, from the wise one to the one who turns up with a takeaway. We're talking about the types of friends that we are. First, it's time for this week's competition, and it's our biggest prize ever, worth a whopping £1 million. Lisa Snowdon has all the details.
ITV are giving you the chance to become a millionaire, but you have a decision to make. Do you take all the money in one go, or do you take £10,000 every month for 10 years? It's a tough decision. Now, if you do choose to spend the money on a house, I feel it's my duty to show you what's on the market for £1 million. Let's go and look. You could live like an A-lister behind this gorgeous gated barn conversion in Coventry. This amazing property is currently on the market for £1 million. And it even comes with its very own leisure complex, a gym, a pool and a sauna. You don't only get the main house, but you also get a one-bedroom barn. So if you get sick of your other half, you can escape over here. How you choose to spend that £1 million is totally down to you, but don't delay. So for another chance to start living the high life, text CASH to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD37 PO Box 7558 Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 22nd of October at 4 p.m. Good luck!
Thank you, Lisa. Now, a mum has asked if she's being unreasonable to be angry that her son's nursery are letting him watch television. She says on the last few pickups, she has seen her 3-year-old and other children gathered around a screen watching cartoons. Now, she admits that while he watches TV at home, she doesn't think he should be allowed to do the same at nursery. Brenda, what do you think? Should they be at nursery to learn and have fun and play?
Absolutely.
Or is it a cartoon maybe is, you know, that's fine for a few minutes?
Like she said, she monitors the TV when she's at home, and that's down to a parent's own responsibility. When you're at home, you do what you want to do. But if you're paying £1,200 a month for your child to learn, you want that child to be learning backstroke, flip stroke, you want that child to be learning a different language. I want that child to be coming home telling me how to cook this and how to do...
Yeah, but this is 3 years old, I think.
3 years, you're never too young to learn something new, you know. You think a child can't say como te llama. Just a simple thing like that. I think, you know...
Was that Italian, Brenda?
It was Spanish. It was Spanish, and it's what's your name? But something simple like that, I think, you know, if a child can speak, a child can pick up something. And the same way that you can sit a child in front of a telly and let it watch cartoons and it pick up those bad habits of whatever said cartoon it's watching, that child will bring that home. What's wrong with play school? You can, if it's an educational programme, I have no problem with that. If they're learning the phonics, they're learning how to speak, they're learning how to conversate with each other, I have no problem with that. But you better give me my £1,200 worth. I want to see what my money's going on.
I'm not defending TV, because if I had kids, they wouldn't get anywhere near it, and I swear that's the truth. And people go, you can't say that because you ain't got kids. No, that's exactly why I can say it, because I haven't got kids. But I quite seriously, I worry about the television in the same way I worry about surveillance and CCTV, because I think it can be a bit of an evil thing. I think it's a...
Carol, you know where you are, don't you, right now?
You're on the
You know where we all are right now.
I'm on it. I'm not evil. But I think the television, as it is, the fact that it's become such an important part of life, of most people's lives, is very difficult to ignore. And I do think that there are a lot of people, and I think it starts at a very young age, people do believe everything that they hear on TV, everything, and they're so influenced by it, by the advertising, by the subliminal messages that you get in dramas and in kids shows as well. It is happening.
Oh, and after today, you'd have us all sitting in a blooming cave with the lights off.
No,
what's wrong with you?
No, sit
Lights
around
are
the table.
evil.
Sit around the table and have a chat with your friends.
Kids are evil.
I'm sorry, you asked what I think I'm going to tell you.
I know, I didn't really want to know that, actually, Carol. She's miserable. No, I get what you're saying, but, I mean, I love telly. I adore telly. My parents used to remove the plug, they'd take the aerial, we'd get coat hangers, we'd find a way to watch the telly. And for me, it was one of my greatest parenting allies was the telly. You know, when
people say that's lazy.
Yes, and they were right. But when I was knackered.
Yes.
But when Maddie was like 3, I remember I used to just to keep the heating off upstairs, I'd put a bottle of milk at the top of the stairs, right? And you'd hear her get a bottle of milk and bump down on her tummy downstairs and put the telly on. And she was happy, and I got a bit more sleep.
Watching God knows
No,
what?
she was watching, you know what, her creative play was absolutely amazing. And so much of it used to come from telly. And I think if I knew that in the nursery my kids were having a little bit of telly, obviously not much, I would go, it's quite stressful to be out of your family home and away from your family and doing things and making things and being creative and all that. And I think a little downtime where you just watch a programme with a bob, it's like being home. I mean, God, when I was hungover, I don't know how I would have coped without television. I used to go like this. I go, get the remote, turn the remote on. OK, now, go over there. Right, go in the cupboard, get some crisps. Come, sit down, watch the telly, and they'd open a bag of crisps, watch telly, and I'll go to sleep. They're very well adjusted, lovely human beings, hard-working, and it did them zero harm.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of your parents. I love that.
I think a lot of their interests actually have come from telly.
I am actually with you. I loved television from no age. I just loved it. It's why I wanted to work in it. I grew up just loved watching it. I loved being part of it. And equally so, I have no problem letting my little ones watch a little bit of... And it's not... I don't mean rubbish telly.
Everything in moderation.
Definitely. She definitely has learned things from watching TV.
They can get creative with their own stuff. If there wasn't a telly, they'd find something to do, wouldn't they?
I hate moderation.
You used to watch Blue Peter, where you actually did make things, right?
You know,
now,
when there was only 3 channels. That's how I grew up, 3 channels.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with me.
Carol. 2. I'm going to find something else that Carol hates after the break.
There are only 2. Yeah, crikey.
She'll definitely hate this, Carol. Would you have a double loo, just like Meghan Trainor, for you and your partner?
In a minute.
And from one throne to another, our guest today recently discovered he is related to major royalty.
Oh, my word. King Edward I. And Marguerite of France. Wow. So, even if the Henry VIII thing's not true, I'm still descended from King Edward I.
You absolutely are.
We'll be talking to His Royal Highness Josh about that. And on the subject of screen time for kids, find out why he credits watching excessive amounts of TV as a kid for his comedy career. See you after this.
See, look, it's a genius. It's a comedy genius. That's what I'm
On Monday, daytime queen Lorraine Kelly joins us alongside her daughter Rosie, supporting our Menopause Manifesto and sharing how their close bond helped them talk about the topic. Plus, why more mothers should open up to their daughters about their menopause experiences. Lorraine and Rosie, Monday, 12:30 on Loose Women.
Welcome back to your Thursday lunchtime Loose Women alongside me, Christine Lampard. It's Brenda Edwards, Carol McGiffin and Nadia Sawala. Now, Carol, we've actually got a little bit of a surprise for you.
No.
Yeah?
Don't you
He's
dare.
here.
Please let it be true.
It's Mr. Blobby!
Yay!
Nah, he's not.
Oh, I'm really disappointed.
I swear.
She's actually...
I was serious. I was literally about to get up and run off the set.
that would have been brilliant.
I'm not doing that again.
We should have kept that going a bit longer.
You could be a distant relative in the pink jumper today. There could be some sort of a link that we don't know about.
I'm a bit floppy.
The pink jumper!
I'm floppy.
wanted Blobby to join you.
You're
Mum.
channeling your inner Mr. Blob. Separated at birth, me and Mr. Blobby. It is a bit blobby. Oh, my God. Never again.
OK. Oh, no. Sometimes it's nice to do things with our other halves, isn't it? Like having a nice stroll or watching a movie. But how about a trip to the loo? Pop star Meghan Trainor has revealed she and her husband have twin toilets right next to each other. Like, right next to each other. That's just a bit... Oh, like, they're really close. When we first talked about this, I kind of thought there was a bit of distance. That is absolute touching distance.
I mean, you would need a lot of distance
You're
to make
sharing
this all
a toilet roll. That's
You
how
need a
close it
wall in
is.
between that. That's distance.
That's not right.
That's the idea.
I mean, what sort of a conversation would you have sat on that toilet together?
This is the thing. This is the thing. I'm not
One
entirely...
lump or two.
Oh, really?
I mean, going to the bathroom should be a sacred experience.
Yeah.
It should be something done just on your own, whether it just be a little bit of peace,
Yeah.
a little break from the daytime routine.
Absolutely.
When the kids
Do
were
you
small, I
really-
used to pretend I was constipated so I could spend time alone. It's the only place that you could get on your own, or
Yeah.
even if your husband's driving you mad or your partner, whatever. Why would you want to take them with you?
Well, what do you want to talk about there that you can't talk about away from the loo? That would be my thing. Why is it that you really can't be separated even for a matter of minutes or whatever it is?
It should be an in and out experience. You don't need to be having no full-on conversation. And I do not want to be smelling your breakfast, lunch or your dinner.
Oh, dear.
Absolutely not.
I think it's disgusting.
Yeah. Are you against it, Carol?
Totally against it. What a surprise!
I'm against it. It's
but
horrible.
I don't understand it, right? If you're going to have two toilets, just, have two toilets, separate toilets. That's fine. I get that completely. The two sinks, the two toilets, two bathrooms if you can afford it. Even two bedrooms would be great.
Is it
sometimes.
a bit kinky? Is it a bit... I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's weird.
I don't know, because nobody here seems to be excited by it. Nobody, everyone seems to have a cold face.
But sometimes you go to hotels and there's two units there. There's a toilet and then there's a thing that does the washing bit, right?
I don't like those.
And even that I find weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't... What do you want to do? Why are you going to put your bum on there?
When they put baths in the middle of the room now and you think, oh, God, have I got to, perform in the bath as well?
I'm with you. I'm with you. Well, look, we've got Josh Widdicombe with us. Josh, tell us your views on two toilets. Are you a two-loo kind of a guy?
We've got four. Me, my wife, and then our two children. We all line up and go at the exact same time. It's wonderful family time. These are the special moments your children will remember in therapy in 15 years.
Exactly.
I can imagine this, actually, because you do pride yourself at being a very laid-back parent, don't you?
Not that laid back, mate. Come on. No. It's like you said earlier. It's the only time I get on my own.
Yeah.
I go in the toilet. I don't need the toilet, and I will just stand. I'll just stand and face the corner like the end of Blair Witch Project, just for 10 minutes, just to stare at the wall. I don't want my alibi gone. That is my only time on my own.
10 minutes.
But Josh, this is the sort of stuff, this is content for your podcast, isn't it? Because I wanted to talk to you about your Parent in Hell podcast. It's just so brilliant with Rob Beckett, of course. And it's just an honest take on parenting from a dad's perspective, which we don't always hear.
No, we started it in lockdown because basically we spent the whole of lockdown texting each other. I've got no idea where that photo is taken.
It's not your best, is it?
It's not, is it? Rob looks like he's been through some kind of face filter. But, yeah, we just spent our time texting each other about what a tough time we were having. And obviously we didn't really have any work, so we thought we'll just start a podcast about this. And it turns out people really enjoy our pain. They loved it.
Yeah.
They really responded to us having an awful time.
But
If I'd known that 10 years ago, I wouldn't have had to do any stand-up. I'd just complained about, the traffic lights not working or having my bin stolen. That turns out is content.
We were talking about earlier as well, Josh, children watching television and what are your views on it? Because this very much links to your new book, which I'll talk about in a second. But how do you feel about your little ones watching telly at home?
Do you know what? Well, my youngest son, he's 5 months, so he wakes up at 5 in the morning and I go downstairs with him and he doesn't complain, and I just sit and watch documentaries about sport. So he's basically watching that from the early age. My daughter, I let her watch TV because she's into the clangers and stuff, so it's fine. And she doesn't watch too much. She gets quite easily bored with it, so that's fine. The moment she starts doing Peppa Pig marathons, I'm clamping down on that. Because that is
But Josh, you watched a lot of telly, didn't you, when you were young, according to your book? And your whole book, or rather your whole life, is kind of shaped by particular TV shows. All the chapters have different titles from 90s TV shows. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. So I grew up in the middle of nowhere, and on Dartmoor. My school had 4 kids in my year. That's how isolated it was. And so I didn't really have anyone around. To give you an idea how isolated it was, we had 2 teachers at my school and a secretary. She came in 3 days a week. So if you phone the school on a Thursday or a Friday, we, the children, would pick up the phone. That is how much I grew up in the middle of nowhere.
Oh,
And so I just spent my whole time watching TV because it just felt so exciting. It felt like a different world, whether that world was Gladiators or Noel's House Party or, TFI Friday or, the Vicar of Dibley, anything. Well, the Vicar of Dibley was basically my life, actually. That's a bad example. But everything else felt like a different world.
But Josh, speaking of TV programmes, I believe that you are compared and likened to a very iconic puppet, which your mother-in-law created. And I'm very curious because, obviously you've met your wife and her mum created this puppet that you apparently look like. Do you think that's why she got attracted to you?
Well, I think I look like
what is the puppet that I'm talking about?
I'm going to go as sound alike because my mother-in-law created Zippy. And apparently I've also got I think look like is unfair. Come on, guys.
I can see it. I can see it.
Just put your hand on your
There we
face.
go.
Oh, my God, separate
You know
the
what?
birth.
Sorry, wrong side. I take it back. I look exactly like Zippy and I sound like.
Oh, that's
Literally the only difference is the zip, isn't it? And I've got a nose. That's the only difference.
But Josh, definitely reading the book as well. I think it'll truly resonate with people of a certain age, and this all hits home to me. We're talking about some of the titles: The Broom Cupboard, another one; Gladiators, you mentioned there now; Neighbours, of course. The X-Files. I mean, I was literally going through the book going, oh yes, it just brought everything back to me. All the things that I loved to watch when I was that age as well.
Yeah, we were obsessed with it. And the weird thing is, all the feedback I get from... I've written this book about my own childhood, and everyone's just, messaging me going, this was my childhood, this was everything I went through. It's because we were all in the 90s obsessed with TV. Before the internet, it was like that big thing. It was a shared experience that everyone had. You'd watch TV, and then the next day you'd talk about TV. And that doesn't happen with anything anymore. If people are watching the same thing now, they're all at different stages. So it's like, don't tell me about Ted Lasso, because I'm on episode 3 or on episode 5.
True.
That is
It was
so
the last
true.
time when it was a shared experience.
Yeah.
Apart from Loose Women, obviously. We'll talk about that.
So were you influenced by any comedy shows you watched in the 90s then?
I was obsessed with all of it because it was such a golden era for comedy. So that on Friday night on BBC 2 and Channel 4, you'd have everything. You'd have Father Ted, or you'd have Harry Hill, you'd have Vic and Bob, you'd have Men Behaving Badly, all these things. And I watched it all. And I didn't sit there and think, I want to be a comedian. But I was so obsessed with it to a weird way that it kind of, years later, I was like, oh, I'm just some nerd. I'm a comedy nerd. I'm basically a fan who's become a comedian.
My favourite thing in the world are nerds.
Yeah.
Thanks,
They're
mate.
interesting people. Interested and passionate about things.
Very true, very true.
Totally.
Josh, tell us about your experience of Who Do You Think You Are? It was one that I think that you found really compelling and actually quite surreal to be part of, but something that's been really special for you.
It was the maddest thing that has ever happened to me. So I turned up on Who Do You Think You Are? You don't know what you're going to do. And I thought I'd meet a few farmers. Do you know what I mean? Or not meet them, obviously. I'm aware of how the show works. And basically, it turned out that I was related to Henry VIII, and because his daughter that he illegitimately had with Mary Boleyn is my 14 times great grandmother. My 10 times great grandfather was groom of the stool to Charles I. Do you know what groom of the stool is?
No.
So the groom of the stool, their job was to go to the toilet with the king, and bit like what you've just been talking about, really, but just keep
Double
the king
keep him
company.
company.
And then clean up afterwards. That was basically the job of my 10 times great granddad. It was insane. They went all the way back to Edward I. And basically, what I'm saying now is, I don't know where the money has gone, but it's certainly to me.
Well, Josh, Your Royal Highness, thank you very much for joining us. Your book is out now, Watching Neighbours Twice a Day. I did that.
Yeah.
How 90s TV almost prepared me for life. I'm with you entirely on that, Josh. Thank you so much. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.
After the break, should you tell your partner if you've lost your wedding ring? Would you go as far as buying a replacement to avoid them finding out? And as Adele talks about all the different types of friends you need during a tough time, from the wise one full of advice to the you only live once party one. What type of friend are you? Hello there, welcome back. Lots still to come, but first competition time. And would you rather have £1 million in your bank account now or 10 grand every month for 10 years? Whilst you mull that over, here's Lisa with all the details.
Hello, I am on a mission to show you what kind of house you can buy in the UK for £1 million.
Why? Because you could be buying your dream home if you win our life-changing prize. Yes, it's the £1 million decision. Take all the cash now or have £10,000 a month for 10 years. You decide.
Kelly, what does £1 million get you on the market these days?
Well, if you've got £1 million to spend in Northamptonshire, you can get this fantastic 5-bedroom family home. It's on a plot of 1 acre and it comes with its own Grade 2 listed stone barn as well.
Would you buy a beautiful barn in Coventry or this amazing family home in Milton Keynes?
You really could be living your best life when you take all the money in one go or you take £10,000 every month for 10 years. But don't delay, get those entries in.
For another chance to make the £1 million decision, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD37 PO Box 7558 Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 22nd of October at 4 p.m. Good luck!
Thank you. Now, Adele has confirmed her new album 30 will be released next month. She said the new album had been her friend throughout the most turbulent period of her life. She then goes on to list all the types of friend it's been to her. My wise friend who always gave the best advice. It was my friend who came over with a bottle of wine and a takeaway to cheer me up. The friend who'd stayed up all night and just hold my hand while I sobbed relentlessly, not knowing why. So what kind of friend are you when someone is going through a difficult time, Carol? I weirdly can see you as being all of those things.
Yeah, I wouldn't be the
you're
third
the practical
one.
friend.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm a bit intolerant of people when they're wallowing a bit
But you
too
would
much.
stay up all night if they needed you.
If they really did, but if it was just over some bloke, I don't think.
Well, that's when you really need your girlfriend.
No,
it's over a bloke.
If I wouldn't stay up all night.
Gee, rubbish.
There's that many bottles of wine I brought, wouldn't it? So yes, I would. The thing is, I'm very good. I am good with my friends when they need advice, right? But I always say to them first, look, if you don't want to hear the answer I'm going to give you, don't ask me the question, because I can't lie and I can't sit there and pretend, oh, you know, everything's going to be all right if it's not.
Yeah, which you need from your friends.
Well,
sometimes.
I think
you need that.
I think you do.
Yeah, you don't want all your friends to be like that, because then it'd be quite an unhappy life.
Just peppered in amongst them.
One. One lonely one. That won't lie to you. I'm a real... You know me, I'm fascinated by the human condition. I would have loved to have been a counsellor or a psychologist or something. So I'm very much, I give the advice. Like, I love it. I love to get right into what's going on and then go, well, I think da-da-da. But I've fallen foul of that, because I remember a few years ago when I asked a friend of mine, I never really asked her for advice before, and I was really broken about something, and I asked her for advice, and she went, oh, sorry, I can't give you advice. You're the one that gives us advice. And I really needed it. But I think sometimes when you're the advisor, it is a way of keeping people away from your stuff. So it's about letting your friends in as well, isn't it, to be a good friend? And sometimes... Well, it's different. You've got to give and take, I think, as a friend.
Well, absolutely. But, you know, when you've got friends who talk about themselves all the time and they never ask how you are.
Well, why are they
Do you know what I
friends?
mean?
They never ask how you
Well,
are.
I don't know, but you have to drop them. You drop them. You know, when you edit your friends, you think, oh, that one can go. Yeah. Because I can't deal with people like that. And I'm very good with my friends. And you're right, Christine, I'm quite good with advice. I'm quite good with bringing the wine round.
But only till midnight.
But only till about midnight, and then I've got to go.
I like to think I'm the flexible friend and the friend who is however you want me to be. If you just want me to listen, I will listen. If you want my advice, I will try and give you my advice. That doesn't mean you have to accept it or take it, but it will be always honest advice.
Yeah, good. It's the only way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you tell someone something and then they hate you, it's like, well, you shouldn't have asked me because you don't want to hear it. I think you would be very sympathetic to everybody.
Oh, you are. You're so lovely. You have such an empathetic way about you.
Do I?
You've got that
I want to be your friend.
You make people feel safe. You're that sort of friend.
You make us all feel horrible because you're so nice.
And I like everything, Carol. Mr. Blobby.
Exactly. TV. Exactly.
No, it is. It's nice to be that person. I would like to think I'm the person that will help cheer you up if you're not feeling good that day. I would like to think of myself as that.
Yeah.
Everyone needs that, don't they?
Yeah.
I think so. Now, tennis superstar Andy Murray has been reunited with his wedding ring after losing it, along with his trainer, which it was tied to, apparently. His wife, Kim, of course, was not happy. So would you fess up to your partner if you lost your wedding ring or any of sort of personal jewellery like that, Nadia?
Well, it's funny, because just when that story came out, Mark did this whole diatribe. Oh, my God, I mean, how ridiculous. I mean, who would put their wedding ring on their trainer? I mean, that's so awful to lose his wedding ring. It's good if his wife's annoyed with him. And I was like, I know, it's just terrible. Who would ever lose their wedding ring? Not telling him that I lost my wedding ring, engagement ring, for ages. For weeks. And it actually was somebody here that said to me...
Did he not notice?
Well, I kept giving excuses and lie upon lie upon lie. But then somebody here told me to do that thing where you have to ask a saint. I wonder if you'll be against this, Carol, when you have to go and you have to say, let what is lost be found, let what is lost be found, let what is lost be found, Sir Anthony. And I did this, and unbelievably, I found it. I found the pile of rings. And I think sometimes you get so panicked looking that you can't find it.
The saint doesn't find it, though. It's you actually stopping to think, actually, where could it be? And there it is. And then you find it. It's easy. I never lose things because I don't need the saint. I just go, right, where did I put it? Over there. Just go and get it.
Next time I'll call to Carol. Carol.
Just go and get it.
I lost my rings once when I was playing Mama Morton in Chicago, and she's not married, and I had to take them. I didn't realise that I had to take it off so that I don't look married. And I took it off and put it somewhere, and I didn't know where I put it, and I lost
horrible.
it. I did fess up, and I tried to scramble, and I did find it eventually.
But if it's an emotional tie to something, I would be devastated if I lost mine because it's engraved as well. So it actually means something. It doesn't mean anything to anybody else, but it does to me. I'd be absolutely gutted. Or if he lost his as well.
Who'd be more angry if who lost who?
I think he'd be maybe more angry, although I'd be thinking, why did you take it off?
Sentimental.
Thank you very much for your company. That is all we've got time for today. Tomorrow, he's part of one of the most famous families on the planet. Tito Jackson will be here. Have a great day. Bye-bye.